Andaman and Nicobar Islands capital Port Blair renamed as Sri Vijayapuram. Sri Vijayapuram represents the victory of Indian freedom movement and highlights the unique contribution of the Andaman Islands. It is the site where Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose first unfurled the Tiranga, and the cellular jail is also located here. Scientists reported breakthrough in neuromorphic computing. They developed memristor semiconductor devices using metal-organic films instead of silicon-based technology. This material enables the memristor to mimic the way the biological brain processes information using networks of neurons and synapses. What is neuromorphic computing? Neuromorphic computing, or neuromorphic engineering, mimics the human brain's structure and function. It involves designing hardware and software that simulate neural networks and synapses to process information. How does neuromorphic computing work? It mimics biological brains using hardware like spiking neural networks, SNNs. SNNs consist of nodes, spiking neurons, connected by artificial synapses, which use analog circuitry to transfer signals. This approach encodes data through discrete analog signal changes rather than binary systems used in standard computers, also known as von Neumann computers. Electronic warfare, EW, definition: a military action involving the use of electromagnetic energy to determine, exploit, reduce, or prevent the hostile use of electromagnetic spectrum signals, such as radio, infrared, or radar. Example: China's Y-9LG electronic warfare platform. Shakti EW system provide an electronic layer of defense against modern radars and anti-ship missiles. Program Sangraha, joint DRDO-Navy program for design and development of 5 different types of indigenous EW systems. Integrated Electronic Warfare System, IWS, designed for plains, semi-desert regions and mountainous terrain. Other, Himshakti, IWS, Sanyukta, designed to perform multiple jamming. Conference on International Arbitration and Rule of Law in New Delhi. It is organized by the Supreme Court, SC, and Permanent Court of Arbitration, PCA, in collaboration with the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law, UNCITRAL. Arbitration: it is a form of alternative dispute resolution, others being mediation, conciliations, negotiations, etc. In this, the dispute is submitted, by agreement of the parties, to one or more arbitrators who make a binding decision on the dispute. It is characterized by neutrality, confidentiality, consensual with binding decisions. Existing frameworks on arbitration: Domestic Arbitration and Conciliation Act, 1996 as per UNCITRAL model law, applicable to all kinds of arbitrations including commercial disputes. New Delhi International Arbitration Center Act, 2019, for facilitating institutional arbitration. Indian Council of Arbitration, a society registered under the Societies Registration Act, 1860. Global International Court of Arbitration, established in 1923 by the International Chamber of Commerce. PCA, established by the Convention for the Pacific Settlement of International Disputes, in 1899 at Hague, India is a party. UNCITRAL model law on international commercial mediation and international settlement agreements. Rule of law refers to the absolute supremacy of the regular law as opposed to the influence of arbitrary power on the part of the government. AVDIC, significance of law in fostering arbitration. Government issued guidelines for Viability Gap Funding, VGF, scheme for offshore wind energy projects. Implementation by Ministry of New Renewable Energy with Solar Energy Corporation of India Limited, SECI, as the implementing agency. The National Institute of Wind Energy, NIVE, will act as the nodal agency, providing technical support for installation and commissioning of projects. Implementation methodology, competitive selection of bidder through international competitive bidding by SECI. Option for Greenshoe option, which is an overallotment option, 50 megawatts in addition to 500 M. Scientists from the Wildlife Institute of India studied Assam cascade frogs into Himalayan streams of the Churdhar Wildlife Sanctuary in Himachal Pradesh. Assam cascade or hill stream frog. It is used as an indicator species to monitor long-term conditions of hilly streams. Ministry of Corporate Affairs cracks down on errant Nidhi companies. Nidhi Company is declared by the central government under Companies Act, 2013. It complies with the Nidhi Rules, 2014 made by the central government for regulation of such class of companies. Cluster Munition, CM. As per CM Monitor 2024, CM accounted for 93% of global casualties in 2023, with children constituting half of it. Cluster munition weapons consisting of a container or dispenser from which many submunitions or bomblets are scattered over wide areas. Many submunitions are unreliable and can fail to explode, posing risks to civilians during and after conflicts. Convention on Cluster Munitions, India not a party. DRDO successfully conducts the first phase of field firing trials of Joravar tanks. About Joravar tanks, it is a light tank designed to provide the Indian Army with enhanced capabilities at high altitude. Jointly developed by the DRDO and private sector firm L&T, named after the legendary General Joravar Singh, who led multiple successful victories in Tibet. Torrential rains and collapse of Alau Dam led to flooding of northeast Nigeria. Geographical features: major relief, Sokota Plains, northwest, Borno Plains, northeast, etc. Highest point, Chappal Waddi. Major rivers, Sokoto and Niger, forming Niger Delta draining into Gulf of Guinea, etc. Major lake, Chad, freshwater lake at the conjunction of Chad, Cameroon, Nigeria and Niger. Securities and Exchange Board of India, SCBI, disposed of proceedings against the National Stock Exchange, NSE, in the alleged collocation case. Collocation or proximity hosting allows brokers to place their servers on the premises of stock exchanges equipped with suitable infrastructure for a fee. Government introduced stringent regulations under Quality Control Order, QCO, for enhancing fire safety in furniture for non-domestic use. The central government, after consulting BIS, publishes QCOs in exercise of the powers conferred under the BIS Act, 2016, thereby bringing the products under BIS mandatory certification. The products under QCOs shall conform to corresponding Indian standards and shall bear the standard mark under a license or certificate of conformity, COC, from BIS. E.g. IS 15768, 2008 for textiles. Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI. Origins and purpose: it traces its roots back to the Special Police Establishment, SPE, established in 1941 during World War II to investigate bribery and corruption cases. In 1963, acting on the recommendations of the Santhanam Committee, the CBI was formally set up by a resolution of the Ministry of Home Affairs. CBI operates under the Delhi Special Police Establishment, DSPE, Act 1946, which grants it the authority to investigate cases related not only to corruption but also to major criminal offences. However, interestingly, the term CBI itself doesn't explicitly appear in the DSPE Act. It is not a statutory body. Functions. It functions under the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions of the central government and is exempted from the purview of the Right to Information (RTI) Act. It is also the nodal police agency in India that coordinates investigations on behalf of Interpol member countries. Section 6 of the DPSC Act authorizes the central government to direct CBI to probe a case within the jurisdiction of any state on the recommendation of the concerned state government. The courts can also order a CBI probe and even monitor the progress of investigation. CBI can suo motu take up investigation of offences only in the Union territories. Autonomy and superintendence of CBI. The CBI is often referred to as an autonomous body. The Central Vigilance Commission, CVC, plays a critical role in overseeing the CBI by CVC Act, 2003, that ensures that there is no interference in the agency's investigations. Even the CVC cannot meddle with the manner of investigation. Its superintendence is limited to broader oversight. An ordinance passed in 2021 extended the tenures of CBI directors from 2 to 5 years, with annual extensions. It was argued that extension of tenure undermines institutional checks and balances. The Niti Aayog released an expert group report titled Future Pandemic Preparedness and Emergency Response, a Framework for Action. Key recommendations: 4 pillars of preparedness. A separate Public Health Emergency Management Act, FEMA. The report emphasizes that the first 100 days of an outbreak are critical. During this window, there is a need to have strategies and countermeasures ready. The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, has been without a full-time chairperson since 1 June 2024, following the retirement of former Supreme Court Justice Arun Mishra. Jute production to be 20% lower this year on floods as per the National Jute Board. The National Jute Board, NJB, was established under the National Jute Board Act, 2008. It functions under the Ministry of Textiles. India is a party to the Montreal Protocol since June 1992, has been successfully implementing the Montreal Protocol and its ozone-depleting substances phase-out projects and activities in line with the phase-out schedule of the protocol. India has phased out chlorofluorocarbons, carbon tetrachloride, halogens, methyl bromide and methyl chloroform for controlled uses as on 1 January 2010, in line with the Montreal Protocol phase-out schedule. Currently, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, HCFCs, are being phased out as per the accelerated schedule of the Montreal Protocol. Ozone, with the chemical formula O, differs from the breathable oxygen, O, essential for life. The World Health Organization, WHO, in a significant development, has granted its first-ever pre-qualification to Bavarian Nordic's vaccine against Mpox. China's decision to raise the retirement age is a direct response to its rapidly aging population and declining birth rates. This demographic shift poses challenges for the country's workforce and social welfare systems. Recently, the Lokpal has constituted an inquiry wing to conduct a preliminary probe into graft-related offences committed by public servants. What are the key highlights of the inquiry wing of Lokpal? Legal backing. Section 11 of the Lokpal and Lokayuktas Act, 2013, mandates the Lokpal to establish an inquiry wing. This wing is responsible for conducting preliminary inquiries into offences under the Prevention of Corruption Act, 1988, allegedly committed by specified public servants and functionaries. Organizational structure. There will be a director of inquiry under the Lokpal chairperson. The director will be assisted by 3 superintendents of police, SPs, SP, General, SP, Economic and Banking, and SP, Cyber. Preliminary inquiry timeline and reporting. The inquiry wing must finalize its preliminary inquiry and submit a report to the Lokpal within 60 days. This report should include feedback from both the public servant and the designated competent authority for each category of public servant. Note, the Lokpal and Lokayuktas Act 2013 also has provision to constitute a prosecution wing headed by the Director of Prosecution for the purpose of prosecution of public servants, which is yet to be constituted. In the aftermath of the catastrophic landslides that recently impacted Kerala's Wayanad district, a critical discourse has arisen regarding the eligibility of subnational entities to claim compensation through the Loss and Damage Fund, LDF, under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC. The Loss and Damage Fund, LDF, was established at the 27th UNFCCC Conference of Parties, COP27, held in 2022 in Egypt to provide financial support to regions suffering both economic and non-economic losses caused by climate change. In COP28, member countries reached an agreement to operationalize the Loss and Damage (L&D) Fund. The fund addresses losses resulting from extreme weather events and slow onset processes, such as rising sea levels. Recently, the Public Accounts Committee, PAC, has taken suo motu initiative to review the performance of regulatory bodies such as Securities and Exchange Board of India, SCBI, and Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, TRAI. Parliamentary committees draw their authority from Article 105 and Article 118 of the Constitution. The Global Bio India 2024 conference, held recently in New Delhi, showcased India's expanding bioeconomy and launched the India Bioeconomy Report, IBR, 2024, along with unveiling 30 groundbreaking startups, paving the way for the future of biotech. Global Bio India 2024 is an annual event organized by the Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, BIRAC, a public sector undertaking under the Department of Biotechnology, DBT. The recently approved BioE3, Biotechnology for Economy, Employment and Environment policy by the Union Cabinet was highlighted at the event. IBR 2024 released by DBT and BIRAC details the impressive progress of India's biotech industry. About 42% of crude oil production and 53% of natural gas output in the U.S. Gulf of Mexico were shut in on recently in the wake of Hurricane Francine. The Irula Snake Catchers Industrial Cooperative Society, a cooperative society of Irula TR1BILS located on Chennai's outskirts, is facing an uncertain future. Irulas are one of India's oldest indigenous communities. They are a particularly vulnerable tribal group, PVTG. They live primarily in the northern districts of Tamil Nadu, as well as in parts of Kerala and Karnataka. Their language, Irula, is related to Tamil and Kannada, which are southern Dravidian languages. Religious beliefs, the Irula people don't have a definite god for them. They are pantheists who make provision for the presence of spirits in humans and objects. Their main deity is a virgin goddess called Kanyamma, who is deeply associated with the cobra. Irula houses are built together in small settlements or villages called motas. Recently, researchers have identified a previously unknown dung beetle species, Onitis bordati, in the Nongkhilim Wildlife Sanctuary in Meghalaya. The sanctuary falls in the eastern Himalayan global biodiversity hotspot and is located in the state of Meghalaya. The area consists of undulating plains to low hills, which are part of the Archean Meghalaya Plateau. The area has become broken and rugged, especially towards west and north, because of continuous erosion by the rivers Amtru, Umran, Amling, Amtesar and other smaller streams. Recently, OpenAI has released a new AI model called O1 and also released a smaller, cheaper version of the O1 called O1 Mini. A disdrometer is a device that measures the size and velocity of falling raindrops, snowflakes, and hail. It can also differentiate between different types of precipitation. G20 Agriculture Ministerial Meeting. India participated in G20 Agriculture Ministerial Meeting in Cuiabá, Brazil. Herpetofauna Survey. The first ever preliminary herpetofauna survey conducted in Grass Hills National Park and Karya-Shola National Park. Grass Hills National Park, it is a protected area located in the Annamalai Hills of Tamil Nadu, India. Grassland surrounded by semi-evergreen and deciduous forest. Montane Shola grassland ecosystem unique to the Western Ghats. Karya-Shola National Park. It is part of the Annamalai Tiger Reserve in Tamil Nadu, featuring tropical rainforest ecosystems. 49 people killed in Ukraine's Poltava after Russia launches 2 ballistic missiles recently. Initiatives for Green Hydrogen, Oil India Limited, OIL recently commissioned India's first 99% pure green hydrogen plant in eastern Assam's Jorhat. NTPC, in Kawas, Surat, has started India's first green hydrogen blending operation in the piped natural gas (PNG) network. The Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board (PNGRB) has given approval for a 5% blending of green hydrogen with PNG, later to be scaled to 20%. Pune Municipal Corporation (PMC) has collaborated with business management consultant, the Green Billions (TGBL), to manage its waste and generate it into usable green hydrogen under the Waste to Hydrogen Project, Strategic Clean Energy Partnership (SCP), to mobilize finance and speed up green energy development. The Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas launched India's inaugural green hydrogen fuel cell bus in New Delhi. The Chief Prosecutor of Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal, ICT, has announced plans to seek the extradition of ousted leader Sheikh Hasina from neighboring India. Carbon dioxide emissions from India's transport sector could be reduced up to 71% by 2050 if high-ambition strategies are adopted on few parameters, said a new study by World Resources Institute, WRI, India. Researchers from the Indian Institute of Science, IISc, Bengaluru have created a revolutionary computing platform inspired by human brain function. The platform mimics brain-like processes and could significantly enhance AI tools' speed and energy efficiency. Recently, the BRICS Literature Forum 2024 took place in Kazan, Russia.